Hello everyone, I'm Ron Grant, coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. You're watching 284 Media. We continue our series Just for the Record, the first 100 days of office with all 13 members who have been invited. If you don't see a member, that is simply because they did not accept our invitation. But today, she has an invitation. Luce Hodge Smith, the district representative for the 4th electoral district, and she's also the junior minister responsible for culture and tourism. Honorable Smith,
yes.
Hodge Smith, welcome to our studios and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron, for inviting me again.
Pleasure. In this very same fashion, you were campaigning.
Yes, I was.
Asking the people to elect you,
yes.
which they did.
They certainly did, and I appreciate them.
You're now serving the people of the 4th District as representative,
yes.
along with holding the junior minister portfolio for culture and tourism.
Yeah.
You've worked hard to sit in the seat that you are.
Yes.
Unsuccessful the first time, but successful the second time. What has it been like serving the people of the 4th District for your first 100 days?
Well, Ron, it has been a wonderful experience thus far. As you know, I served as a civil servant for 25 years with the government of. It's a little different on this side of the fence because as a civil servant, there are certain rules and regulations and policies and all these different things that you have to follow. But on the other side, being the one that's in charge in a sense, because you are a legislator, so you are one of the highest members of our community in terms of the legal aspect, and the legislators are, recognized as such. So being on this side of the fence is a little different. First of all, I have to get it. I have to get used to it. Get used to being put in front of the line, being recognized as Honorable Luce or Honorable Hodge Smith. You know me. Yeah, I'm down to earth. I'm quiet, but still deadly when I have to be. But so I have to get used to it at the same time. My own, of course. And I was at the back of the line. And the officials from BVI Ports Authority, Mrs. Hodge Smith, Honorable Hodge Smith, you have to come to the front. And that kind of jolted me and said, okay, this is a new life.
Understood.
But it has also been very rewarding so far in terms of helping people, making a lot of remarks here and there, representing the territory once thus far. I attended the regional 45th Regional Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meeting in Turks and Caicos last month. Well, actually in July, and just doing things and in my district, finding out the people's needs, attending meetings, of course, attending House of Assembly. I made one contribution thus far, and that was very interesting. Because you see it, but now you have to do it. So there's a difference, of course. Okay. And basically just everyday work.
Understood.
My office right now is in the House of Assembly, but I am to the 4th District.
I was just going to ask you that because that is one thing that you mentioned previously on having. Where exactly are you?
That's very important. I have identified an office space. It's taken a little longer than I wanted to be to get it up and running, but I'm being patient. And I hope that I don't lose the spot, but I'm hoping that I will be able to get it running soon. Hopefully by the end of October, no later than, or even before.
You mentioned here the civil service to being a legislator, where and I'm paraphrasing you, but you said basically you're sort of in charge.
Yes.
There are persons who are of the opinion because you are an elected official, you automatically with the blue, red, and yellow tips. I want you to speak to that. Have there been any challenges in governance that would perhaps not allow you to accomplish certain things or take longer?
Yeah. Well, why I compared myself to being, as a civil servant, I was in charge of a department.
Director of Culture, yes.
So, the Director of Culture. So, I got things done because I had the resources in order to get them done and to get them done in a timely manner. But on this side of the fence, it's a little different. It doesn't work like that. It takes a little longer. Definitely, because first of all, you don't have the access to certain resources that you need to get things done. So you have to depend on others. In my capacity, that is.
Okay.
And it's understandable. It meant even to learn how things actually work on this side, and that's what I've been doing. I've been learning. I've been asking questions. I've been, searching for the answers that I need to get to the questions that I've been asking. I think I have it now.
Okay.
I have it now. And how to operate, what I need to do to get it done. Folks will hear things about what we have in mind to get done for the district very soon, because we will have a community meeting very, very soon. And we will explain what's going to be done and how they're going to be done and who they're going to be done by.
Okay.
So basically, doing.
All right.
Yes.
I'm happy to mention that you shared being new to the role, and you also
Yes.
mentioned traveling to the convention, the parliamentary convention. Recently, of course, you colleagues sat through the CPA meeting when they visited the
Yes.
territory for training.
Right.
I want to speak about that because
Okay. when
we sat through the Commission of Inquiry and
Yes.
we observed legislators answering questions, cases the role got just kind of thrown into it with very little explanation, it would appear,
Yes.
of the role, its responsibilities and procedures. 100 days into it, would you say that you have had ample opportunities or training in regards to what you cannot do, procedures and policies as a House of Assembly member?
Yes, I think I understand that. In addition to kind of like a local informal session with
Okay.
our House of Assembly, the Honorable Speaker and her staff, we did an informal session as well. So we had some training there. And then with this seminar, which was a post-election seminar put on just for us here in the Virgin Islands, we were able to have 3 days of seminar, and it covered a range of topics. So it helped us to understand our role, what it means to be a parliamentarian. It also helped us to ask questions if you were not sure about something that from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, they were there to answer whatever questions we had. So it was rewarding.
Wonderful.
And it helped to clarify some of the questions about myself and what my responsibilities are as a legislator.
All right.
So yes, it
You
was
mentioned
beneficial.
about helping persons, and of
Yes.
course, that is essentially one of the main
That's
roles
a challenge.
you said it's a challenge, but before we get to the challenging part, what are some of the main areas when they call Honorable Luce? What are the people needing help with?
They need help with some bills.
Okay.
They need
Interesting.
help. Yeah, they need help with their personal things. They don't ask for much, at least not for me. From me, I don't know what other representatives, the types of calls that they would get. But I will reach out to help as much as I possibly can and steer them in the right direction. To go with them, I go and I help them to complete the form or to show them where they need to complete the form. For example, we have the rated program now. And what I'm doing is I'm going through the district and I'm reaching out to particularly the young men that are not employed, because it's a program. So there is a particular young man and he doesn't have the requisite, doesn't have an NHI card, and he doesn't have this and he doesn't have that. To try him required identifications, because if he doesn't have them, he can't be a program. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also with the business have too in the district, and it started, but it's going to continue. It's going to be continuous until we can get all the businesses in the district that are registered with the Ministry of Finance. So those are the kinds of things that we're doing. We need to get the office so that we can get these people to come, fill out the forms, and we help them.
But finances, you say, would definitely be on the top.
Finances will definitely be on the top. Because as you know as well, Vaughn, that in the past, the district represents all the funds at their disposal, but that's no longer the case.
Understood.
There are people in desperate need of their assistance.
Briefly about just the overall appearance. I know it was definitely one thing in our previous interview that you spoke very profoundly on the beautification of the Capitol Road town.
Yes.
Tell us about the progress.
You'll see changes coming up. We are doing it through the relevant agencies and departments and ministries, because I will need the help of these organizations. I met with the director and his team from the Department of Waste Management, and I made a recommendation to them, and they accepted it. They accepted it. It's basically what we see, and we do recognize that there are continuous efforts to try to clean the districts and the territory, because we see them territory-wide. These are the of waste management. You see them in the morning.
Early in the morning, yes.
But they come out in the morning, and then they close for the day or they leave for the day. But then we have the rest of the day. So I simply made a suggestion that they should have a shift system where you have some in the morning and some in the afternoon. So the whole day is covered. Wonderful. Because there's trash throughout the day, and even to meet, not to meet, but to clean these remote areas that you don't necessarily walk these paths all day long, but still debris is in those areas. So we could get them to go to the nick and cranny areas that needs to be addressed as well. In addition to that, we are trying to clean up the bush, and again, trying to get the young people through the rated programs to do some cleaning as well. I've received some calls from persons who have wonderful ideas. They will see something that needs to be done. For example, a young lady called and said, "You walk here," or I got a call and said, "We need some speed bumps here because, especially on Main Street, the cars are driving too fast, and people are trying to cross the street, so we need to put a little speed bump here." So I'm getting those kinds of calls.
So the constituents are reaching out to you.
They could reaching out, and then one said there's a leak somewhere, and it's been going on for quite a while. So we were able to.
They're helping you to be your eyes and ears.
My ears and my eyes.
Wonderful.
So when they do that, then I call and contact the ministry or the department that's responsible.
Wonderful.
So it's been going on, and we do have some NGOs, the non-government organizations that are to help, reached out. So we will be meeting with those folks to discuss how they can help us in the district. They're willing, and we are yet to have those meetings, but we definitely will have them meetings before our community meetings announced to be helping shortly. And recognizing as well, we have the Wickham-Ski Development Authority, as I mentioned before. They are working with me through the Ministry of Communication.
Wonderful.
It's a team.
Wonderful.
So I have to depend on these agencies to help me to get what I want, things that the people want to also see done for the district.
Understood.
Yes.
Now, I have to touch on your junior ministry. You're a junior minister of culture and tourism.
Yes.
And before I get into the questions, you came from wrong. Your junior minister responsibilities, how I understand it, is essentially still, you are the junior minister for culture and trade, but a lot of the
culture and tourism.
Culture and tourism. I'm sorry, but most of the work is by assignment.
Yes.
Okay, which means that the Premier himself would perhaps put yourself and another junior minister, Mr. Dr. Carl Dawson, on assignment. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, good. All right,
Yes.
so I'm on the right track. As a junior minister of culture, let's dissect that for a second. Let's start with culture. Clarify that for us. What role, if any, do you play to defend? Stay tuned for more Just for the Record right after this.
blood of Jesus that line you along like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
son.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Clarify that for us. What role, if any, do you play to defend?
At the moment, none.
Okay.
Because that is the responsibility right now of the Premier, the Honorable Premier. But I did play a role before. I served on the committee in the past, but at the moment, no.
Okay. So let's continue that conversation a bit more. Culture.
Yes.
What's taking place on that realm? What's going on
Well,
there?
culture, I was assigned to deal with Tourism Month.
Okay.
Tourism and Culture Month.
That's in
Culture
November.
and Tourism Month, and that's in November. So we're going to be beginning to plan to have those activities come on for November, for the month of November. We're hoping to have, of course, we have the Lobster Fest during
Yes.
that time, and we'll have some other events, the food fair, possibly the Fungi Fest. We will have, but meetings will start next week, so we can start the month of activities, and
Okay.
then you will hear more about those. But that's my assignment.
All right. And now the Culture and Tourism Month has been booked together, but on the tourism aspect, what has that role been like as on tourism specifically?
Again, as assigned by the Premier, the Honorable Premier, I've met the staff. I met them. I wanted to meet them. I did meet them, and I introduced myself to them. And again, I on to make remarks or to attend an event. So,
I have to ask, because there ever been a point within your first 100 days that you perhaps questioned your decision to run for office?
no.
Lovely.
I have had 25 years of experience as a public servant. Ron, I see myself as a public servant.
Still very much so, yes.
Very
correct.
much so. And the funny thing is that in the beginning, I was the education officer responsible for culture. So I didn't really have a staff per se. So I did all the work myself. So I am an and get things done on my own if necessary.
Okay.
But of course, and at this level, I need a team. So until the team comes, this is what I do.
Okay.
I go out in the field, meet my people. When they call, if I have to meet them somewhere, I meet them somewhere. If I have to go to their homes, and like I said, if I did the one young lady, I got the forms for her from social development. I took them to her. She's a little hesitant. So, well, the only way you'll get help is if you complete the forms. So I kind of coach as well. I mentor and I encourage, to try to be positive and get them to see things in a different light.
Okay.
And because you don't want them to be dependent on you all the time. So that's my aim, is to help them so that they can help to sustain themselves.
Understood.
Yes.
I want to stay on a second because your take on where you foresee us being and where you want us to be as a territory on a national level.
Yeah.
It comes and making sure that we understand exactly what that looks like for us.
Well, again, going back to my area of expertise in sense, because I did it for quite a while, that's the area I was in, was culture. Recognizing the need for us to promote ourselves a bit more, the cultural aspect of ourselves. And tourism and culture is a perfect blend because you help to enhance your tourism product by showing a lot more about your culture and your heritage. And we do have that. We do have that. And what we tried to do in the Department of Culture when I was there is to educate the children, get them involved, the students, get them involved, learning about, their culture and their heritage. And that's so important. We want people to understand, as Virgin Islanders, it's a continuous process because culture evolves and culture is live. You live in it. You live in your culture. You speak the food that you eat, is just how we behave. Okay. That's culture. People seem to think that culture is a hard thing to understand, but it's living. It's a living thing. So it evolves because time. But there's aspects of heritage that you want to maintain because those are the things that help to identify you. Okay. It helps to identify you and make you different from everyone else because we are similar but yet different. Okay. Right? All right. Yes.
No, the territory on a whole continues to, I like to use the word transition, move from a different stage. The 4th District, of course, makes up the territory, and it's one of the bigger constituencies. Yeah. As representative for not only the 4th District, but just a sitting member of the House of Assembly, you observe not only your district, but on a national, as a mother and a grandmother as well, wife. What keeps you up?
The gun violence. The gun violence. I am really, really saddened by the gun violence in our community. Yes, I'm a mother. I have 2 boys, and it seems to be the young men that we're losing. We're losing our young men, and it's really sad. When you think that it's over, it starts up again. And you want to know, well, what can you do? Where can you find these people and just give them a good shaking and ask them, what are you doing with your life? Why are you choosing to go in this direction? And then I say to myself, they're in it and they have to understand that this is a consequence.
The ramifications.
And the ramifications of being in this type of, I don't even know what it, or if it's an industry or if it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Okay, thank you, Ron. And why they would choose to go into that. And how could someone so heartlessly take a gun and take another one's life? So that bothers me, the gun violence in our community. And I have had the fortunate opportunity to speak to seniors. And I've also had the opportunity to speak to women in a church. And they have a program, End It Now. And it was pertaining to violence against men, women, and children, not just the gun violence. And I admonished them to speak out. As a community, we need to speak out. And I also spoke to seniors on 2 occasions. And I said to them, you're the ones that we are taking over from. You've been where we are now. You lived a life and now you're retired, but you still have a role to play in our community. So when you see something that you're not pleased with, speak out because you're the seniors and we have to listen to you. So just don't take a back seat and say, how the young people are today. We need guidance from them. We need to hear from them. We need everyone's participation. And one of the things that I had mentioned, that the one that I spoke about in terms of ending it now, the churches can get form organizations. They can demand, attention to our community and say this is no longer acceptable. It may not stop it, but to not say anything is just as bad as to say, well, it's okay because no one cares.
Well, I happen to be one that agrees with that statement wholeheartedly, and I've gotten some flack because we have an entire Christian council that seems to only want to speak about topics that are of likeness to them. But we have a number of national issues, and just like you said, the church plays a very pivotal role because at the end of the day, it still takes a village to raise a
Yes.
community,
Yes.
essentially. 100 days in, you got about 3.5 years to go.
Yes.
What do you want that to look like for the people of your district and the territory?
But I would like to begin to see a transformation because it's a capital. It's a capital and everyone comes in, whether to work, do business. For some reason, you come from east, west, north, and south. It's in the Rotown district, and our aim is to get it cleaned up. We're also, in terms of one of the other agencies that we're working with, is the Town and Country Planning Department. They have tons of plans on their shelves. So I said to them, we're going to put some of these plans that you have on paper and try our best to implement them. One of them is and it's been there for years on the books or in paper. There is the idea of a walkway from between the First Caribbean Bank and the Old Palm Grove. So you walk up there and you walk all the way up to Vanterpool's Pharmacy. Okay. Remember that? That walkway? So there was a plan, I know of it years ago, and it hadn't been done. So that's one of the plans that I want to do, is to have that walkway completed, because we want to be able to pedestrianize, increase, the ability for persons to walk, and we still have the idea of the sidewalks, making it a little more safer for people to walk on, especially on Main Street. We're discussing about not having any parking on Main Street. But of course, if we do that, we have to address the parking issue, the major parking issue. And we're going to be discussing that with our community when we have our community meeting, because we have some offers for parking structures. Wonderful. So we are working behind the scenes, kind of pulling things together, because the idea is to put things in motion, find out, work before you come to the people, because it doesn't make sense to just come just for coming's sake, but to have things to discuss with them and get their buy-in, and you have your presentations, because we also have the police traffic advisory committee that we met with, and they too have concerns. So they're going to come out as well and have some presentations to us during the meeting. So it's a collaboration. So we're pulling it together so that we can present to our community and get their feedback, get their input. If they like something, if they don't like it, we can adjust it, or what we present. So that's what we're working on right now. Okay.
And to the people of the 4th District, finally, what would you say to them in regards to helping you with the execution of a number of these plans and just essentially working together?
Well, I must say the people are still supportive. Okay. As I mentioned, the one young lady that called, she's not in my district, but her child is in one of the centers in the district. And she said, she called and she suggested that this could be done in terms of the signage, that we need to work on the signage in the district. And the people of the residents, of some of them are calling and saying this is what needs to be done and that needs to be done. So the support is still there. And they recognize me, yes, as a district representative. And so far, it's been good. I haven't had any negative comments. And so they recognize too as well that I have to take a little time to get settled. And I think I am settled now, as I have all my answers to my questions. I understand, what I need to do to get this done. So, yes.
All right. Yes. Well, thank you so much for your service and, of course, coming and having this conversation with me.
Thank you, Ron, again, for having me. Thank you.
Viewers, you've been watching, just for the record, our 100 days, first 100 days in office. We've been joined by the Honorable Luce Hodge Smith, the 4th District Representative, who is also serving as the Junior Minister for Culture and Tourism. Ron Grant, you to it.